So, car buying, well, used to be quite simple. Well, one walked into a dealership, a salesperson shook your hand with, well, a smile, also judged you a little bit, showed you around the lot, and somewhere between a test drive and a really bad cup of coffee, you signed, and well, you were happy for the rest of your life. That world is not, well, entirely gone, but it is being taken apart very systematically by software. Spyne is one of the companies doing the taking apart part. Yes, they work with thousands of dealerships across the United States, Europe, and India, helping them merchandise, price, and sell using tools that didn't exist, well, about 5 years ago. Sanjay Varnwal has built this company from scratch from Gurugram, and today he joins me on front page to walk us through in terms of what is the future looking like as far as, well, experiencing the drive, so to say, is concerned. Welcome to front page, Sanjay. How are you doing?
Thank you, Sudhi, for inviting me. I'm doing great, and so great
True
to speaking
pleasure.
with you
True
today.
pleasure. True pleasure to have you. And of course, fabulously interesting in terms of what you have thought of. And it's only been about 5 odd years, which brings me to the first question, which will hopefully set the context. So, as far as automotive retail, right, becoming a software first industry is concerned, that kind of jumps out at you. So, dealerships have
Mhm.
been relationship businesses, right, Sanjay, since, well, the longest time that we can remember. So the guy kind of knew your name, remembered your last car, maybe, just maybe, threw in those floor mats and gave you a discount on, well, the speakers. So what
Yeah.
exactly is different now and makes you believe that that model has a real problem? What motivated you?
Okay, so that model has not gone. It will always be around because car buying is a big ticket experience for
Sure.
your as a life, right? So for any kind of real estate or car buying experience, it will mostly be touch and feel.
Hmm.
So what has really changed is for a metro like let's say Gurugram or New York or any such place like big cities,
Hmm.
there's a lot of movement of people in these cities, right? And so many car transactions keep on happening.
Hmm.
So the relationship which was built with the dealer traditionally with the consumers in over the decades or so is gradually shifting for and giving its way to the to a way where people try to discover everything online, right? So
Fair.
the transaction will still happen while the customer visit the store,
Hmm.
but they will discover which car to buy online predominantly. 70-80% of the discovery is getting done online. So whether it is new car or used car, anything. Then the test drive is booked, and after the test drive is booked, then the real handshake happens, right? So the customer
Fair.
walks into the store and then they try out different cars and close the deal. So nothing has changed substantially, just that the discovery has moved online predominantly in the last, especially after COVID, it has
Hmm.
also
Correct.
accelerated a bit, and
Correct.
that has led to this shift. Yeah.
Was that very quickly? I want to ask you, was that the real motivation for you to, well, think of Spine moving into the automotive sector?
No, not really. Of course. So every single industry that you see around is seeing this moment of digitization right now,
Huh,
right? So you can pick up any industry, and every industry is going through that particular change, and
huh.
it has started seeing change in the last 15 years, and automotive is not aloof of it. So we picked up automotive
When you
because
say
of
you
various
picked
reasons.
up, so could you very
Yeah.
briefly, Sanjay, give all of us and the viewers, of course, a slight context in terms of Spine and the
Yeah.
foundation of it, etc. And then, of course, you can tell us about this new edition as far as automotive is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. So I worked over a decade in internet commerce industry, and most of my experience was built around making the vendors, internet sellers successful on
Hmm,
marketplaces,
hmm,
internet marketplaces, right?
hmm.
So, and the core challenge that we used to see while making a seller go live on these marketplaces was good looking merchandising for
Hmm.
their products,
Hmm.
right? So because in the store you show the product to the customer, they can look and feel, touch and feel, and then
Sure.
buy. Digitally you want to see the product,
Hmm.
right? So And in order to see this, you need like good visuals.
Hmm.
So the problem in the industry was that this this entire marketplaces had this entire consistency as a concept, that
Hmm.
they wanted to make their marketplace look very consistent and uniform,
Sure.
right? But if you tell like millions of sellers to upload their, let's say, footwear images or burger images or anything,
Hmm.
it'll just break the consistency,
Hmm.
right? So what used to happen was that most of these marketplaces or the categories used to build a product shoot guidelines,
Hmm.
that this is how you will shoot footwear versus a car versus a laptop versus anything,
Hmm.
right? And this is very hard to follow. So the bigger brands used to hire agencies and the photographers that used to read those guidelines and shoot the products like that. But the long tail sellers, which are like 98, 99% of them, millions of sellers,
Hmm.
used to just shoot random images and submit it and got rejected. So we
Right.
used to reject almost 85 to 90% of the images
Wow.
coming our way.
Hmm.
So as a solution, I thought that hey, why can't we build an app, very easy to use app that
Hmm.
understands these guidelines and guides the end user on how to shoot as per the marketplace guidelines.
Okay.
And once we do that, we can reduce the shoot rejection rate by like
Sure.
98, 95%.
Right.
That worked. We launched it
Nice.
across multiple categories:
Hmm.
fashion, food, e-commerce, real estate, automotive, and
Hmm.
started seeing like good adoption across all these verticals.
Hmm.
But we saw that every vertical had different problems. So the way you will shoot a fashion model will be different than the way you shoot a real estate
I would
versus
hope
you will
so.
shoot a food category, right?
I would
So,
really hope
and
so.
most of these big companies were coming up with their own deeper guidelines, deeper requirements, which we are not able to adhere to. So we thought that okay, there's a reset that we need to do and think about like one category and build really deep, globally the best product possibly in that category.
Okay.
And that's when we decided to zero down on automotive because we discovered the market is huge.
Oh, yes.
Like US is 300 million cars on the road, 60 million cars getting transacted every single year,
Wow.
80,000 dealers doing all these transactions.
How about
We
India?
discovered the market.
India is also
India
huge.
also has close to 22,000 plus dealers,
Wow.
almost 10 million cars getting transacted every year. So massive market, but one of the problems in India right now is the market is not yet digital. So you
Ah.
won't find a next door dealer maintaining their digital presence right now, which fundamentally will take the behavioral shift will take possibly a decade from now. Uh,
Wow. 10 more
it will
years.
take
Yeah.
like a few years. Yeah,
Which brings me
easily.
to this point
So
for sure, Sanjay. I have to ask you this. What does AI native mean? I mean, since you said that India is not as mature in terms of digital market, what does it mean in
mhm.
practice? You know, why I ask you that is that every company is constantly going on about the fact that they're putting AI in the name somewhere, even if it's a force
Yeah,
fake, right? Just
yeah.
to sound cool, probably. So when you say Spine is built differently from legacy retail platforms, what does that actually mean on the ground?
Yeah. So, I mean, AI has been like a really a transformative technology across all the sectors.
Hmm.
So I see the technology evolution across the industry in three phases
Hmm.
fundamentally, right? So if you look at like technological evolution in the last 20, 30 years, the first phase of technology building was on-premise software,
Sure.
right? So the softwares were installed into your dealerships. Like I'm just talking in the context of dealers,
No, no,
but
fair
it
enough.
is true for other
Sure,
industries,
sure.
all the industries. Right? So the bigger companies, software companies, used to install their on-premise softwares at the dealership locations,
Hmm.
and they used to run their businesses using this.
Hmm.
Around 15 years back, that movement shifted. That change happened where the cloud native softwares came into picture,
Hmm.
where most of these like on-prem softwares gave way to cloud native softwares, and many new startups started emerging. Click one of them, and many other softwares started working and
Hmm.
building softwares around it,
Hmm.
use cases. And very recently, about 2 to 3 years back, and now these companies like which serve about 70, 80,000 dealers in the US
Hmm.
are massively big. I mean, the biggest software company like barring Zoho from
Hmm.
India
Hmm.
is Freshworks, which is like 700, eight
Sure.
hundred million in revenue right
Hmm.
now, right? The top four companies in the US automotive software industry each have revenue in the tune of $2 to $5 billion,
Hmm.
which is like a three times bigger than each of them are three times bigger than Freshworks, which is the largest software company in India.
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
SaaS in India. So
Hmm.
that is the massive market and the domination these big companies have in the
Hmm.
industry right now. Right. So there was never a moment in the industry when the supremacy of these four or five big companies was ever challenged because of the software uh, spread and the distribution these companies had.
Hmm.
But the AI has given a way to rethink some of these softwares in a way which is like a 10x in terms of experience. Like so,
Hmm.
there's a unification of the entire car buying journey, buying to selling journey from the point of view of dealers that you can build, and you can have dealers give and execute, give ways and execute some of the most important tasks behind the scenes
So, what
without
does
even
the
dealer
dealer
coming.
see? Let's say, if you were to put it
Yeah.
across very plainly, Sanjay, for all of us to
Mhm.
understand. Let's say I'm a dealer. So, what do I see or experience that, let's say,
Yeah, yeah.
I was not being able to do, let's say, 10 years ago?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things is, let's say you're a dealer in the US,
Hmm.
and your primary job as a dealer is to. So we need to understand dealers' business fundamentally first, right?
Sure.
So dealers' business is all about rotating their cars, right?
Correct.
Capital rotation is the core business of
Because it's
theirs.
a volume game, right? And there's a lot of
Not
capital which gets locked in.
Yeah, exactly. You pointed out the right thing.
Right.
So let's say a dealer which is selling 100 cars and average value of a car being $25,000
Hmm.
would need 2.5 million worth of capital to buy these 100 cars
Correct.
every month,
Correct.
right? And this money will be borrowed by financial institutions, which
True.
will charge interest.
Hmm.
Then there is the holding cost, which is like real estate cost, depreciation cost, all these costs also add up together. So every day the car doesn't sell for the dealer, they lose money in the tune
And
of
also has a lot of
40 to 80.
acidity issues.
Yeah, 40 to $80 a day per
Hmm.
car, the dealers keep losing the money. So
Right.
the most important metric that dealers have is how fast they can move their car, which is inventory turnaround time,
Hmm.
right? So so very few softwares over the years have built their entire like a dealership ecosystem in a way where all these vehicle life cycle,
Hmm.
right from acquisition to pricing to inspection to let's say refurbishing,
Hmm.
merchandising, publishing, marketing, sales, service, all are connected
Hmm.
and targeting like inventory turnaround time as a central metric. Right. So
Fair.
so what AI has enabled is it has started like a rethinking. It has given a way to rethink all these nodes of this like a vehicle movement and 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 build softwares very natively using AI, where most of the work is done behind the scenes
Hmm.
by the agents
Hmm.
and dealers are. So there are like three decisions that are done, right? So easy decisions AI can take on their own,
Sure.
on its own.
Hmm.
The tough decisions, the easy positive AI can take their own. Easy negative, it can also discard and take its own decisions. And the decisions that are left to be taken by the dealers, it flags out.
Okay.
So the UI that is getting built is more on decision taking rather than action oriented. That I
Understood.
will have to tap here and get my work done, rather than hey, I've done this for you. These things are completed, positive and negative. These things need your decisions.
Understood.
So how about you just let me know and I'll execute it for you.
Which is
So this
actually
is the
quite
fundamental.
sensible, to be honest. I mean, it is given the fact that dealerships are very human related, so it makes sense what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Absolutely. And this is the entire like a agent philosophy that is emerging all across the globe, right? So, like I have also shifted my work from a lot of like program manager that used to work with
Hmm.
me
Hmm.
and with agents that automatically does work for me, right?
Fair
So
enough.
so similarly, you can build agents around acquisition, pricing, merchandising, publishing, marketing, and this entire macro shift will happen. I mean, we just about 1.5 years back when voice AI came into the
Correct.
picture, everyone was like so skeptical that whether this technology will ever be adopted
Hmm.
by the
Hmm.
users or not,
Hmm.
because it was so sounding fake. It had latency issues,
Oh
context
yes.
awareness issues, and so many other issues, right?
Hmm.
But you see like the way it has picked up in the last 1.5 years, not even like 2 to 3 years, just one and a
No,
half
true.
years, the way it has picked up.
True.
And the adoption is seeing like unprecedented scaling up right now across the industry. So voice, be it visual, be it data, be it agentic experiences. You don't
Tell
know
me
what
this,
will happen in the
Sanjay.
next one.
No, you've given a very pointed example, and I think thank you for that, because since you mentioned that with as far as voice adoption was concerned, there were certain challenges that you just listed out. As far as this is concerned, right? Where have you seen the challenges? Where does the real inefficiency actually you feel is still popping up, which is probably giving you some sort of, let's say, a runway in terms of overcoming those challenges, and maybe you can squeeze the time of this getting implemented a lot quicker.
Yeah, I mean, if you just think of a regular dealer's operation,
Hmm.
right? So a regular dealer which is selling 100 cars would be deploying maybe 10 people
Hmm.
managing all calls that come their way, all leads that come their way every day,
Hmm.
right? So let's say a dealer which is selling 100 cars would be receiving about 1,000 odd leads, car sales leads from the customers every
Hmm.
month,
Hmm.
right? Now, to cater to these 1,000 leads, they will deploy maybe 5 people, which are called BDC, Business Development Center folks,
Hmm.
to take the inbound calls and also act on the outbound calls and so on. And they also, by the way, manage service operations. So there are like 5 additional people who will be deployed on service things.
Hmm.
What happens is when you and just to give you like a zoomed out context, there are roughly 60 to 70,000 dealers who are operating like this in the
Right.
US,
Right.
right? And most of these dealers will deploy like these many people in their stores right
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
So if you see traditionally, let's say you or me being the business owner want to operate this particular business of a dealer,
Hmm.
we want these people to function very, very efficiently all the time and do not let a single lead slip away,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
what happens is customers can call you anytime. It can call you during the work hours, it can call you during the off work
Oh,
hours
yes.
as well as on the weekend and holidays every time, right? So
Hmm.
we see almost 25-30% missed call opportunities or slipped
Hmm.
opportunities coming dealer, which is consistent across all the dealers in the US.
Right.
And this is also a true thing in India as well, and all across the globe as well.
Hmm.
This is one. The second is all the calls that come to the dealer's way
Hmm.
are not immediately answered. And in the B2B or any such business, if you see that if you do not attend to the call immediately, let's say within 30-40 seconds,
Yeah.
your chances of connecting or converting that lead goes down drastically.
Yeah, I
Right. So
agree
and,
with
and
you.
this
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
duration is almost 3 to 4 hours for the dealers right now,
True,
in
true.
which the first connect happens.
Hmm.
Follow-ups doesn't happen, do not happen regularly, right?
Hmm.
So some of these are persistent human related issues which are very, very hard to fix by the dealers because uh, discipline at scale for all 60,000 dealers is very hard to get
Oh,
by,
yes.
right? So what AI did was that some of these are just disciplinary issues and very, very low end fixes needed to get this working, right? So AI agents can do like all the three things very, very efficiently, right?
Hmm.
So it can not let a single lead slip by. It can ensure that every single lead is connected within maybe 10-15 seconds. It
Hmm.
can do enough number of follow-ups. So your lead conversion chances go drastically up
Hmm.
within these agents. Like so this is like one of the areas where AI has, I mean, very, very uh, evidently shown the outcome compared to the human operations which were deployed. Of course,
Fair enough.
humans are now freed up to do more physical work. When the customers come to the dealer store, they can do like more interactions and get them more business. So some of these are the areas where AI is becoming very, very effective. This is like just one of the examples. There are 10
No,
different
fair
examples
enough.
that I can quote.
No, I
So
get
where
I get the gist of it in terms of the improvements that's taken place, but which actually makes me definitely wonder about this, Sanjay. That you're catering to the United States, you're catering to Europe and India. These are very three different markets in terms of human behavior, in terms of, let's say, the sheer volume, scale, etc. Also, probably for that matter, the maturity as far as the digital footprint is concerned in these markets. So how are you adjusting to this as far as spine is concerned? Because I'm pretty sure that would be also a great challenge, the nuances of it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So ours have been a journey of always starting multiple things,
Hmm.
figuring out that all things cannot work, and
Right.
then converting into one thing and executing that really well. We
Hmm.
started with horizontal, merchandising play and got focused into automotive. Similarly, we started when we went deep into automotive, we went everywhere, all geographies. Then we realized that okay, every geography has its own depth, so we can't do everything at once. So let's again focus only on the US. So now what we have done is in the last 1 year or so, we have just deprioritized everything else and are really focusing on US as a geography. There are 80,000 dealers in the US. Even
Yeah,
if
I
we are
guess
able to win
numbers never lie,
10,000
Sanjay.
10,000 dealers in the next 3 years or so, there's a massive business to be built
Oh,
here
for sure.
around it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You've, of course, just very recently announced Vini, which is inside Techion's platform. So, congratulations on that. Why does that
Yeah.
matter? I want to understand that because dealers are already running a DMS. They're not looking for another login or, for that matter, another dashboard. Vini
Yeah.
is now inside Techion's ARC, handling calls,
Yeah.
scheduling appointments, like you just mentioned. That's a big challenge area, which I believe you're trying to bridge, following up with customers.
Hmm.
And this is happening from inside the system, right? Which the dealer is already
Yeah.
using. So the question I have
Yeah.
for you is this: why is that the right approach, Sanjay? And what actually is a true area of a collapse when AI tools actually are outside of the core area? Why does that matter?
Yeah, of course. So adoption is a big challenge, right? So for any of these disruptive technology to work, you need to have the deeper context about one, the vehicle, two, the customers, three, the dealership operations, and then a number of different things, right? So with Vinny, we are automating the conversations using agents, right? So that's the core of it, right? And when you talk about automating the conversations, it has thousands of edge cases where it can fail, right? So customers can talk about anything, and the agents are supposed to answer those things, right?
Give me an
So
example.
so agent can ask about, hey, whether the car went through any kind of accident in the past,
Okay,
right? So you need to know about the vehicle history.
sure.
The customer can ask about, hey, I asked about this car last time. Is it still available? You need to go deeper into the CRM and check the previous interaction history with the customer and then be able to like personalize that conversation. And similarly, there could be like hundreds of use cases that customers can talk, which are contextual in nature and also involves a lot of like a domain related knowledge like can you give me the EMI information,
Sure.
what is the upfront payment that I need to do, right? So what is the service history, variety of questions, right? So for all the answers for these questions you can't like your agent has to be trained across or has to access all types of information from the dealer's ecosystem, right? And dealer's ecosystem is right now fragmented. There are hundreds of softwares that dealers use typically, ranging from DMS, inventory, CRM, marketing, website, service, finance, so many of them, right? So around 30-40 point solution software that dealers use. And these questions could connect to any of these systems. So what we have done over the last few quarters is we have established integration with almost like 120 plus companies across all the software layers in the automotive ecosystem, so that our response resolution rate, resolution rate right now stands at about like a 95 to 96%. So no matter what questions customers ask, we are able to provide the answer because we have access to the information and we have access to the context of the customer. So this is where the sitting natively within all these ecosystem players is helping us because we need all these information. So in terms of Taken, because they provide full stack solution to the dealers, we got ourselves integrated and we accessed all the information within their system to provide a native experience to the customers, like very good experience to Taken customers.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
Sanjay, I
and
just very
similarly we have done it
quickly,
with
sorry, I just very quickly want to just go back to the fact that you've deprioritized India and Europe, for example, at the moment, as far as markets is concerned. Fair enough. I mean, I get the logic. You're looking at the numbers, etc. But do you think it also has to do with a certain amount of a behavior or a culture, and is also that a reason that's driving that decision that you took? Especially, let's say, if you were to do a very quick comparison between America, Europe, vis-a-vis India, And then, of
Yeah.
course, I'm going to come to another question, which is, I feel that the market in India is maturing a lot.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So, I mean, of course, so GDP wise, right? So 4 trillion versus 4.5 trillion versus 30 trillion economy,
Oh, fair.
3,000 per GDP versus like $100,000 per GDP per capita income, right? In the US. So all these are factors. So which makes US as a possibly 20 to 30x bigger market compared to where India is today. Right.
Okay.
So as a business owner, when you prioritize any business, you always look at the ROI part of it,
Fair call.
right? So every dollar spent, where can you get like maybe $10 most efficient manner, right? So so right, I mean, then we dissected all three markets very deeply. Of course, India has its huge advantage if we see ourselves operating here because of the proximity. We know the ecosystem very well,
Fair
and if you
enough.
want to
Obviously,
spread
yeah.
it, we'll be able to go very deep into the Indian market and start the digitization journey rather quickly. But the kind of effort that it would require and the kind of outcome that it will produce is disproportionately lesser than what it can achieve if you do the same in the US, right? And if we talk about Europe as a region, Europe is almost an equivalent market compared to the US, but I mean, analogy point of view, if you see, every state in the US is equivalent to every country in Europe.
Fair enough.
But every state, but every state, all the 50 states are very homogeneous in nature in the US.
Fair enough.
But if you see all these countries in Europe, all are heterogeneous.
Oh, for
So
sure, yeah.
Spain has Spanish, different types of softwares. Britain, UK has different type of softwares and language, right? So every country has its own set of softwares and language, which is a very hard problem to
Fair
address
enough.
and solve.
Understood.
So the scaling will be like a way faster if you are able to crack US as a market.
Which I'm pretty sure
So
that you're
and of
working
course,
on, and then you want to obviously set your sights as far as Europe
yeah,
and India is concerned. Very quickly, I want to
yeah,
ask you
absolutely.
this. Two things, Sanjay. I would like to ask you this purely because of the paucity of time. First and foremost, this entire motivation came from during COVID, when the behavior changed as far as the collective consciousness is concerned. Recently, the Prime Minister has, of course, announced, and the centre has clarified that there is no mandate as far as work from home is concerned. He has also
Yeah.
stressed the fact that the EV vehicles should be the preferred choice. You being somebody who is right now very deeply ensconced as far as that entire automotive business sector is concerned, how do you see these little announcements coming by change probably the behavioral patterns? And do you feel that it's going to be an impact as far as fuel consumption, etc., is concerned because of the skirmish in West Asia? I'd like your thoughts on that.
So all these are I mean, very much a temporary phenomena, right? So we are looking to build the business for the next 20, 30 years. Automotive is such a big business industry that you can just keep building and keep growing here, right? So of course, EV is one of the big changes that is happening. But again, EV will be sold by the dealers, sold by the companies, right? So we are building software that will help these dealers or these sellers manage their businesses pretty well,
So essentially,
efficiently. That
dealerships will never be bypassed, according to you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So in the US is already a way evolved market compared to India, and we have seen this same trend happening there. But like the dealers have adopted EV selling, and they've started like keeping stock of a lot of EV vehicles. Of course, Tesla is one different example which has digitized its overall journey, but dealers ecosystem like is really massive. They have big political clout. There's a
Sure,
big
sure.
industry that is running here
Absolutely.
across the dealership. Not easy to like disrupt this entire like a physical industry that employs so many people
You're, of course,
and build this.
essentially just adding a lot of flavor to it. Sanjay, I'm so sorry, I'll have to cut you through, but I want to bring you back because this is, of course, a much wider conversation. I also wanted to talk to you about, well, the entire negotiation bit of a customer and a dealer. That was always the fun bit, right? The haggling.
Yeah,
Can you please bring it down by
yeah.
10,000? Can you break it? But I mean, those questions still are something which I want to explore with you when we bring you back. Unfortunately, today we have a paucity of time. All I have to say to you is, Sanjay, you're doing some wonderful work and you're building the spine step by step. And thank you so much for being on Front Page.
Thank you for inviting, and it was wonderful having speaking with you,
Oh, it's going to
Sudeep.
continue. It's just that we're going to bring you back again. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
got it, got it. Sure.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Spine, something which is, in a way, going ahead and changing the way we think, and consumer behavior is being influenced in a big way. So, well, please do let us know what are your thoughts in the comments below. Will you still go to a dealership, or would you go via Spine? Well, like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, think AI, think AIO.